The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good morning, afternoon, evening. My name is Ron Chuckett. Welcome to the program for this Martin Luther King Day, the 19th day of January 2026. As we play the games of the first Saturday of the 1986 season, don't think we have any meetings. I think we actually can do 3 streams this week. We'll see. So, here's the situation. The Kansas City Royals and Toronto Blue Jays meet in the first weekend series of the season, and you would think that the folks at the National Broadcasting Company would have been thrilled to pieces to have an ALCS matchup on the cards for their first weekend of Game of the Week. However, the Royals have gotten off to a horrible start. They were swept in New York, and the Blue Jays won the Friday night game. Yankees and Royals to start the season. Yankees and Jays for Kansas City to start the season. They come into this one 0-4. Toronto, a little bit better shape, and I do think that by the time that all is said and done, the Blue Jays are going to be right in the thick of it for the American League East crown. So Dennis Leonard gets the call for Kansas City today. I forgot who's. I think it's Jim Acker for Toronto. The Royals and the Jays from Kansas City. It's the Bob and Tony Game of the Week, as Retro Sports Network presents Major League Replay 1986. Today, from Independence, Missouri, it's the Kansas City Royals and the Toronto Blue Jays. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports sims and replay needs. Find Dave, Vinny, and Joe on Spotify, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. Oops. You'd think that my software would be better about things like this. Let's see, who's here on this holiday? How you doing? Bernie and Tim and Barb. Mike Terranova, how are you? See if we get close to a perfect game today. Dennis Leonard, at the end of his career, is 35 years old. He's made 30 starts for the Royals in 86, 8-13 with a 4.44 ERA, 192 2/3, 207 hits, 106 runs, 95 earned. He allowed 22 homers. He walked 51 and struck out 114. Throws the Bugs Bunny fastball at 84 at this stage in his career. And one of those things that such an important member of Kansas City Royals history. Coming to the end of the line. Lloyd Mosby will lead off in center field for the Blue Jays. Tony Fernandez at short will bat second. Rance Mulliniks at third will go third. Willie Upshaw cleans up at first. George Bell in left will bat fifth. Jesse Barfield in right will go sixth. Cecil Fielder, the DH, will bat seventh. Buck Martinez behind the plate goes eighth, and Damaso Garcia at second, batting ninth. The same lineup the Blue Jays used when we had them earlier last week. Defensively for Kansas City, Lonnie Smith, the 5-5 in left. Willie Wilson at 8-5 in center. Darryl Motley a 7-4 in right. George Brett a 9 at third. Argenis Salazar a 5-5 at short. Frank White a 10-10 at second. Steve Balboni a 5 at first. Jim Sundberg an 8-6 behind the plate, and Leonard is an 8 on the mound with a 909 fielding percentage. Let's see who else is here. How you doing, Greg and Scott, Aaron? So here we go. Mosby 0-13 to start the year. Not a great start. Leonard on this Saturday afternoon starts the game with a strikeout, a 1-2 fastball chased. It is a cold day here. The computer calls it Kauffman. It wasn't Kauffman until 95, I don't think. So this is the turf at Royal Stadium, and I'm going to say it's close to era appropriate. 58 degrees, winds blowing right to left at 16. Tony Fernandez is 1-for-16 to start the year. This is the 5th game for the Blue Jays and the Royals. So Tony hit no 63. Leonard deals. Ground ball to Salazar. Throws to Balboni, and Tony is retired. 2 out. for Mullenix, who is 3 for 12 with 2 doubles on the year. So hopefully everyone doing great. Pitch to Mullenix. Here's a high ground ball to Balboni. Steve takes it to the bag, and that will retire the side. Jays go in order. Half an inning in the books, no score. Jim Acker only would make 5 starts, and so this will be a bullpen game for Toronto. 2-4 in 86, a 4.35 ERA. 23 appearances, he'd start 5. 60 innings, 63 hits, 34 runs, 29 earned, 6 home runs. He's a pitch-to-contact pitcher. We walked 22 and struck out 32. Fastball at 88 and a standard pitcher. Yes, they did. Bills did fire Sean McDermott today, which is kind of strange since he was, unless there was certain things that we were missing there. How do you get to the divisional round and get your coach fired? Acker will only be available, by the way, till July 5th. Lineup for Kansas City. Lonnie Smith will lead off and left. Willie Wilson at center will bat second. George Brett at third will go third. Hal McRae, the DH, will clean up. He is 40. Frank White at second, batting 5th. Steve Balboni at first goes 6th. Darryl Motley in right will bat 7th. Jim Sundberg at catcher goes 8th. And Eugenio Salazar will go 9th at short. Acker, again, maybe 5 innings. Defensively for Toronto, Rance Mullenix a 5 at third. Tony Fernandez coming into his own at 10 and 8 at short. Damaso Garcia a 7 and a 7 at second. Willie Upshaw a 9 at first. George Bell a 6 and an 8 in left. Lloyd Mosby a 7 and a 5 in center. Jesse Barfield a 10 and a 10 in right. Buck Martinez a 5 and a 4 behind the plate. Acker is a 7 on the mound with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Lonnie Smith off to a good start, 5 for 16 with 3 doubles in 4 games. No, he didn't commit the turnovers. Well, they were screwed, Dave, a number of times in the first half, too. They did kind of beat themselves, and the refs didn't help. Marty Schottenheimer of Cleveland rings the bell, although he was close to the due to philosophical differences with one Art Modell. AP, how are you? I don't think anyone really cared for Art. Look at the mistakes I've made, Todd B says, and I haven't been fired. That's true. Smith, base hit, left center field. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Bell will field it on a hop, and Lonnie has good speed in his 4th double. If there is an American League team that can hit the inside the park home run, it is who you're watching right now. Kansas City does have good speed. Willie Wilson, 7 for 4. How is this team 0-4? 7 for 14 with 2 RBI. Do I steal Smith? Runner goes to third to throw down, and Lonnie has a steal. He had 26 in real life. That's his first of the replay. So Kansas City trying to manufacture some runs. This is an AstroTurf team for sure. 1 strike count to Wilson. And he strikes out. An 0-2 fastball. 1 away for George Brett, who is 2 for 15. Ouch. With a double. Did we get snow? We have some, Dave. Not a heck of a lot. I saw that you were snow blowing. You didn't make it this far north. We're supposed to have wind chills in the 20 below range over the weekend coming up. Pitch to Brett, and George draws the walk. So first and third, 1 out for Hal McRae, 1 for 13. That 1 hit was a double and an RBI. Things in Vermont are good. Had a family gathering over the weekend. That was very nice. It's what, 30 some odd degrees. I mean, I was able to get out today. And McRae draws the walk, so Acker behind the 8 ball, bases loaded, 1 out for Frank White. 3 for 16 on the replay, a double and an RBI. Barbara's too much snow. Winds 25 below wind chill. Ouch. 23 Fahrenheit in Toronto. There's a distinct... How cold is it going to be in Cleveland, Tim? So Lonnie on third, Brent on second, McRae on first. Pitch to White is a fly ball left field. Back goes Bell. That is well hit and is off the wall. Smith scores. Brett scores. McRae. They got him on the scooter. He's around third. White will hold it second. Fernandez throws to the plate, and it's 3-0 Kansas City. So Frank White clears the bases on a double to left. And the Royals are looking mighty pretty right now. Here's Balboni, Steve 2 for 14 with a double and a solo home run. He has 1 RBI. AP, you're in Connecticut, right? Pitch to Balboni is a fly ball left center. Bell moving over. Will make the catch in the alley. White will hold at second. Now you see Mike Ferraro's name there. He is not the manager at the moment. Dick Hauser would start the season, and then his brain tumor would become apparent, and Ferraro, longtime coach with Hauser in the Yankee system, would take over. Darryl Motley is 2 for 8. Has singled twice and scored. And that got away from Martinez, but not far enough. So not a wild pitch in a full count. Bad inning for Acker. Oh, you're in New York. Okay. 5 degrees in Cleveland tonight with the wind chills of 15 below. Jeez. Tomorrow, 5 Fahrenheit in Toronto on the other side of the lake. 4 in Portage, Indiana. But it is sunny. No, that is the scoreboard. You can make it smaller, but that is the scoreboard in the new version. Motley in the right. Back goes Barfield. Gone. So Motley is homered, and it's 5-0 Kansas City in the first inning with 2 out. Apparently a bit of frustration in the Kansas City locker room, getting taken out. Scotty, how are you? It was 20 in Dayton, low of 7 tonight. So Sundberg with 2 out, 2 for 14 with an RBI early on. Strikes out, so Acker strikes out too, but sandwiched in there, 5 runs, 3 hits, a bases clear and double by Frank White, and a 2-run homer from Darryl Motley. It's just like Game 7 of the World Series. It's 5-0 Kansas City. So Leonard has been staked to a huge lead. Upshaw, Bell, and Barfield to face him. Willie 3 for 12 on the young year with a triple and a stolen base. And if John was here, we could say it's always sunny in Philadelphia. We are gaining sunlight for sure. Yet the Royals are taking the Howard Beale approach. They're as mad as heck, and they aren't going to take it anymore. Struck him out. 2 for Leonard. A 2-2 curve, and Upshaw watched it. 1 out for Bill, 5 for 13, 385, 4 RBI on the young year. At least we don't have to worry about a perfect game. That was wild. Bell pass wide into center field, and there's the jinx for you. So the first hit for Toronto. Here's Jesse Barfield. Jesse off to a hot start. 4 for 15, but he has 2 homers and 3 RBI already. Line shot to right. Motley will make the catch. 2 out for Cecil Fielder. Cecil 0 for 10. Ground ball to Salazar. Arhanis flips it to second, and that'll do. So the Blue Jays get a hit and leave a runner on. After 1.5, it's 5-0 Kansas City. So Salazar, Smith, and Wilson to face Acker here in the second. Arhanis, 1 for 11, an RBI, and a run scored. It is, as someone is watching from Philadelphia, it is sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah, we gain about what? We're gaining what, 2 or 3 minutes of sunlight a day? Solid choices, AP, for your favorite games. Pitch to Salazar. There is a ground ball past Fernandez in the left field. So the Royals apparently took some extra batting practice. They got beat last night 3-2 on the Friday night game, which I believe was their home opener. Lonnie Smith doubled his first time up. Opening 9 for Acker. 42 pitches, 1 inning plus. That's not good. 5 runs, all earned. 4 hits, the home run to Motley. He has walked 2 and struck out 2. That is a base hit to right. Barfield will throw it back in. So Acker has none stuff here. Here's Willie Wilson. He struck out his first time up. Popped up. Left side. Bell will make the grab. No, he won't. He'll drop it. Nope, he played hot potato with it. He was in foul territory. He dropped it, but he barehanded the catch, and that's an out. And nobody can move. You can try and go, but you really shouldn't. George Brett walked his first time up. Up the middle, past Garcia into center field. Salazar around third. He will hold for Hal McRae, who also walked his first time up. Yep, pitchers and catchers report in about a month. Sunny and 35 in Seattle. I think 35 would be welcome in a lot of different parts of the country. Pitch to McRae, bases loaded. That should score Salazar. Barfield, however, coming in, rides a Schwinn, makes the catch. Salazar tags. And they're going to try it. Smith on his way to third to throw to the plate, not in time, and everybody moves up 90. So 6-0 Kansas City. With 2 out in the second for Frank White, who had the bases-clearing double in the first. Who wins a dash around the bases in their prime? That's a good. Vince Coleman or Willie Wilson? I would say Coleman. So Lonnie Smith on third, George Brett on second, Frank White at the plate. That's a base hit. White's going to have 5 RBIs. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Extra bases. This might be 3. Nope, he's going to stop at second. It's 8-0 Kansas City. Oh, Joy, I'm so glad we did this one today. Balboni is 0 for 1. 7 hits for the Royals in an inning and 2/3. Popped up. Martinez. Nope. To the screen. And it's 0-2. Struck him out. Acker shakes his head. He struck out 3. Gives up 3 more runs on 4 hits and no errors. After 2, Kansas City 8, Toronto nothing. Greg, you don't get the lake effect off of Ontario, right? So Martinez, Garcia, and Mosby to face Dennis Leonard, who now can just kind of soft toss it in. But 1 for 9, a 111 average, and that 1 hit a single. Struck him out. 3 for Leonard. Leonard flipping back the clock with this one so far. Garcia, 1 for 12. That's a single. You would if you lived downtown. Okay. There's a sharp ground ball to third. Brett Webb Jim from his knees throws him out. How about that? 2 away. For Mosby, who is 0 for 14. He has reached, or he struck out his first time up. Leonard opening 9, 2 2/3, 37 pitches, a hit and 3 strikeouts. Mosby sharply to short, Salazar over to Balboni, and that will do. So Dennis Lamp will come in. Jim Acker's day is mercifully done if you're a Blue Jays fan. And 67% of you voted for Toronto. Good luck with that. Lamp can go 75 pitches. He is 33 years old. He's got the Groucho Marx mustache. He went 2-6 for Toronto in 2 starts, 40 appearances, a 5.05, a very New Mexico ERA, with 2 saves. But when you're down 9,000 runs, it really doesn't matter. Just get your work in. 73 innings, 93 hits, 50 runs, 41 earned, 5 homers. He walked 23 and struck out 30. Fastball at 83 and an extreme ground ball pitcher. Who would win a run to the Ponderosa Buffet, Pete Incaviglia or Steve Balboni? You're assuming that Cecil Fielder wasn't already there. It'll be Motley, Sundberg, and Salazar to face Lamp here in the third. Darrell hit the 2-run homer in the first. High ground ball to first. Upshaw, 1 out. On 1 pitch. Here's Sundberg. He struck out his first time up. So apparently Acker was told to stay at the hotel the night before for opening day here in Kansas City, and he found the pay-per-view selection. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. And the minibar. Sundberg draws a walk. I mean, $30 to watch Mary Poppins and eat a Snickers bar? Here's Salazar. Argenis singled his first time up. In 2017, we went to the Eastern Final between the Argos and Saskatchewan, and it was more than chilly that day with the wind blowing off the lake. Oh, I bet it was. Had they moved to the old exhibition at that point, right? DJ John from the left coast, how are you? You've got the day off on the holiday. Pitch to Salazar. Got away from Martinez, but no one can move. A ball and a strike to Argenis. Up the middle, Garcia only plays to first. They get Salazar. Sundberg moves to second, 2 out for Lonnie Smith. Lonnie has singled and doubled today. He is 2 for 2. Struck him out. A relatively easy inning. 3 out. No runs, no hits, no errors. Kansas City's left on 2. We go to the 4th. 8-0 Royals. So Fernandez, Mullenix, and Upshaw to face Leonard. Tony is 0 for 1. Beautiful day off in Northern California. You heard he was watching. Oh. Not touching that one, Steve, but yes. Yes. What are those? No. Oh, but the new stadium was built only 200 years. Right. I knew it was same area. Time to cue up Saved by the... Yes, starring Bob Golick. There you go. Fernandez hits a hard ground ball to second. White in the hole. Throws to first for the out. 1 away for Mullenix, who's 0 for 1. Fly ball to left. Lonnie Smith going back. Makes the catch. 2 out. For Willie Upshaw, who struck out his first time up. Up the middle, Frank White over to Balboni for the out, and that will do. So, no runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 4th here on a Saturday afternoon in Kansas City. Royals 8, Blue Jays nothing. So here's all the stats and stories and leaders. The Angels are in first place in the West. Kansas City's already 4 back. We've played 4 days, and they're 4 games back. Oakland 1 back. In the East, the Yankees are undefeated. Everyone else in the American League East is 2-2. That's crazy. San Francisco 3-1, a half game up on the Dodgers. It'll be the Giants and Astros Wednesday at noon. Nolan Ryan pitching for Houston. And in the National League East, Montreal a half game up on the Mets. Willie Wilson is 0 for 2. He has struck out once. Kolek was just as good of an actor as Barney Rubble. The Bears ran out of ways to come back. Yep. That's right. Indiana and Miami tonight for the college championship. Fly ball, right center. That'll drop for a hit, and Willie's in there. 8th hit for the Royals. Here's George Brett. He has singled and walked. He's 1 for 1. That is a base hit in the right center field. Barfield cuts it off. Wilson on his way to third. Now, if you ask me at 35 who I would think would be faster between Willie Wilson and Vince Coleman, I would go Willie Wilson. Al McRae has not had that bat yet. He has an RBI and a walk. Yeah, Caleb Williams is outstanding off his back foot to force overtime. So the question I saw this morning is, when you find yourself in that situation, do you play for overtime and take your chance that nothing bad is going to happen? Or do you try for the win and go for 2? Hard ground ball to first. Upshaw's got it. Wilson will score. Fernandez for 1. McRae's going to reach. It is 9-0. And Upshaw saved, got one out there, and McRae has my speed. Frank White has 5 RBI today. He now has 6 on the year. He has doubled twice and driven in 5. Yeah, Seattle and the Rams for the NFC title. And the Patriots and the backup quarterback for the Broncos for the AFC crown. That is another base hit. What a day for Frank White. Bell will pick it up. McRae will hold it second. Here's Balboni. He's 0 for 2 with the strikeout. 10 hits for Kansas City with 1 out in the 4th. Popped up left side. Bell going back. That wind is blowing in from right at 16. George makes the catch. McRae will hold. And Lamp, inning in 2/3, still hasn't pitched as bad as Acker. Darryl Motley, who homered in Game 7 of the 85 series, has one today, his first, and is driven in 2. He's 1 for 2. Lamp deals. Struck him out. Kansas City, however, gets 1 more on 3 hits and no errors. They've left on 4. We go to the 5th, 9-0 Kansas City. So Bell, Barfield, and Fielder to face Leonard here in the 5th. George, single today. He's 1 for 1. It's a lone hit for Toronto. Right to White, 1 out. What a great grab by Frank White. He's your Digital Dice MVP. 5 RBI. Jesse Barfield, 0 for 1. Struck him out, 4 for Leonard. Leonard is in that hall of very good. That was a 2-2 off-speed pitch. Certainly not Cooperstown worthy, but hopefully enshrined in Royals history. Sorry to see that Wilbur Wood passed away. I didn't realize as Cecil Fielder steps in 0 for 1 that he was a lefty knuckleball pitcher. He pitched for the Red Sox, which I didn't know either. Struck him out, 5 for Leonard. Halfway home on a snooze fest here at Royal Stadium, 9-0 Kansas City. Yeah, Greg, I think that's what he is most known for with the White Sox, starting both ends of a doubleheader. 9 runs, 10 hits, no errors for Kansas City if you joined us late. Toronto has a hit. Here we go. In the first, Frank White cleared the bases on a 3-run double to start the scoring. Then Darryl Motley hit a 2-run homer to make it 5-0. In the second, McRae with a sac fly to make it 6-0. And then Frank White doubled home 2 more to make it 8-0. And in the fourth, McRae, a fielder's choice, 9-0. I think even I could hold that lead. A 1-hitter for Dennis Leonard, who struck out 5. Jim Acker, 2 innings, 7 hits, 8 runs, all earned. A homer to Motley. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Dennis Lamp, 2 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Jim Sundberg is 0 for 1 today. He has walked and struck out. How far did he go in both of those games? Probably close to 300. Pitch to Sundberg. There is a ground ball to Mullenix. Rance throws it over to first, and Sundberg is retired. When Tim Wakefield was going great, Salazar, by the way, 1 for 2 with a single. Timmy was different from most knuckleball pitchers because he didn't have that rubber arm. He really was only a 105, 110 pitch pitcher. Salazar fouls it off the mask of Buck Martinez. A spark. It's a Buck Martinez bowl. He caught for both Kansas City and Toronto. The 0-1. Ground ball to Fernandez. Tony throws it to first, and Salazar is retired, 2 out. So Lamp doing yeoman's work here. Lonnie Smith, 2 for 3, a single, a double, and a strikeout. How you doing, Andy? He only pitched 1 inning of the first game, so it must have been a stunt. But that was around the time that Veck had the White Sox, right? With the AstroTurf infield and the grass outfield. To Garcia, high throw to first, and Lonnie's retired. So 1, 2, 3 go the Royals. We've played 5, 9-0 Kansas City. So Martinez, Garcia, and Mosby to face Leonard here in the 6th. Buck struck out his first time up. And only 4 1/3 in the second. Okay. Now, which version of title bout are we talking about here? Because there's 2. Struck him out. Martinez looks at a 1-2. That's his 6th. So here's Garcia, who was 0 for 1. The scores were 12-2 and 7-0 Yankees. Yikes. So it wasn't like he went 14 innings. Right or left center, Willie Wilson going back will make the catch, 2 out. For Lloyd Mosby, Lloyd is 0 for 2. And for the Blue Jays, that's the kind of day it's been. With a strikeout, Leonard, 18 batters, 75 pitches, 5 2/3, a hit, and 6 strikeouts. He faced 6 batters in the first game, but didn't get an out. Struck him out, 7 for Leonard. We're through 5.5. What an effort from Dennis. Seems like old times. No runs, no hits, no errors. Bottom 6, 9-0 Kansas City. Willie Wilson, George Brett, and Hal McRae to face Dennis Lamp here in the 6th. Lamp has gone 3 good innings. Wilson 1 for 3 with a strikeout. The one from... Oh, okay. So the title bout 2. I think you gotta love boxing. I'm not sure if it has all the universe-building things that the one that OOTP did. But still, they trusted him for that second game. It does keep track of boxers' records. Absolutely. Wilson, ground ball to Fernandez. Goes the other way. Throws to first for the out. It is a good game. But you got to pay for each weight class. So if you got to, I think heavyweights come with it. George Brett is walked and is singled twice. He's 2 for 2. Base hit, right field. Barfield cuts it off, and Brett is 3 for 3. 11th hit for the Royals today. Here's Hal McRae. Hal has 2 RBI. He has walked and is 0 for 1. That's up the middle. Garcia only plays to first. Upshaw's there. McRae is retired. Brett moves to second, 2 out. For Frank White, who's had himself a day. He is 3 for 3. He has singled, doubled twice, and driven in 5. To third, Mullenix on a hop, throws to Upshaw, and White is retired. So I imagine at this point, whatever the prime game on NBC is, that Bob and Tony would just be sitting back watching, as the whole country at this point would be over to Vin and Joe. Fernandez, Mullenix, and Upshaw here in the 7th. Tony 0 for 2. Leonard cruising through the first 6. Hard ground ball to White on one hop, throws to Balboni for the out. For Mullenix, who is 0 for 2. There's a ground ball to third. Brett has time to autograph it. Over to first. 2 out. For Upshaw, 0 for 2 with a K. A drop third strike on a knuckleball. Scott Johnson going down the rabbit hole on that doubleheader. Makes for a great story, doesn't it? But when you take a deeper look, it wasn't as impressive as things may have seemed. Hard shot down the line and right. Motley will have to play it off the wall. Upshaw's going to get the second hit for Toronto, and he's into second standing with his first double of the year. So 2 out here in the 7th, and a 9-0 Royals lead. George Bell has the other hit. He's 1 for 2. That is a base hit in the left center field. Upshaw will score without a throw, and at least Toronto's on the board now, 9-1. For Barfield, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Leonard deals. That's a base hit right center field. Bell on his way to third, and I think it's time for us to go get Dennis Leonard. That Royal pen, is kind of spent. They can't really use Steve Farr. He's tired. Saberhagen could go out of the pen on one day's rest. It would have to be Mark Heusman. Because Bud Black goes tomorrow. And Charlie Lieberant would go Monday. So runners on the corners. 2 out for Fielder. Cecil is 0 for 86. He's 0 for 2 today. Right center. Back goes Wilson, and Willie makes the catch against the track. Stretch time, 9-1 KC. So Balboni, Motley, and Sundberg to face Lamp and probably the next pitcher. Lamp has gone 4 solid innings. Allowed a run, 4 hits, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Balboni 0 for 3 with a K. Lamp deals. Hard ground ball to short. Fernandez on a wicked hop throws him out. For Darryl Motley, 1 for 3, a homer, 2 RBI, and a strikeout. So who do you think is going to get any of these coaching jobs? You would think that the Bills' job would be pretty good. There's a base hit. That goes into left. Bell will cut it off. Motley holds with a single. That's the 12th hit for the Royals. Jim Sundberg 0 for 2, a walk and a strikeout. You leave for 2 minutes and the Jays score a run. Well, snap throw down to first, and Motley's back. Not stealing with an 8,000-run lead. Jeez. Lamps pitch. That's a base hit right center field. Mosby cuts it off. Motley will not go to third. First and second, 1 out. Lamp starting to reach the E on the gas tank. Here's Argenis Salazar, who's 1 for 3. Another snap throw down to first, and Sundberg has to dive back in. Sundberg and Martinez exchange a wry smile. Only a touchdown and a 2-point conversion behind, Mr. Gorky reminds us. And that got away from Martinez. It's a 2-0 count. That is a slow chopper to Lamp, who can't make a play. Is that true? Poor Andy as a kid. Got sent to get the mail one day because he wasn't needed as the family remote control. And so was out getting the mail for the Immaculate Conception. That or reception. How you doing, Brett? That is a... Did you ever let him forget it? Lonnie Smith is 2 for 4. He has singled, doubled, and struck out. Motley on third, Sundberg on second, Salazar on first. Timing is everything. Martinez and Lamp have a word. Dennis deals. That is up the middle. Fernandez stabs it, throws to second, and that will get an out. Motley will score. 2 out, 10-1 Kansas City. For Willie Wilson, who's 1 for 4 with a strikeout. I'm sure he thought it was funny. So a friend of mine I used to work with 1,000 years ago. Wilson, there's a ground ball to third. Monix throws to Garcia for the force, and that will do. Kansas City gets 1 more, so you now need a touchdown and a field goal, Greg. 2 hits in an error. We go to the 8th, 10-1 Kansas City. So a friend of mine that I used to work with, Martinez, Garcia, and Mosby to face Leonard here in the 8th, is out camping the last weekend of October 1986. Round ball to Leonard, over to Balboni for the out, 1 away. And so her and, I don't know if she was married at that point or not, had the transistor radio. They're someplace up in Maine, listening to Game 6 of that World Series. And she's confident that it's over. So she goes to bed in the tent, with radio off and all that. Garcia, by the way, 0 for 2. She goes into town the next morning to get a paper or a donut or a coffee. And with the biggest smile, and she's going, how about those Red Sox? And the poor person behind the counter is the one that had to tell her what happened in the bottom of the 10th. Pitch to Garcia. There's a base hit, right field. Motley will play it on a hop. Greg prefers when Nick Saban argued for an extra second on the clock and Auburn returned to the kick for in the Iron Bowl. One of Vernon Lundquist's greatest calls. So Mosby, 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. 27 batters deep for Dennis Leonard, 113 pitches. 7 1/3. 1 run. It was earned. He's allowed 5 hits, hasn't walked anybody, and struck out 7. Sundberg and Leonard have a word. Hoisman warming up for Kansas City. Mosby, base hit center field, and that'll do it for Dennis. Hoisman. It's one of those, who the heck is he cards? Huismann. 28 years old. Fastball at 90. Ground ball plus pitcher. 0-1. A 4.15 ERA. He's only available till May 18th. 10 appearances. He does have a save. 17 and a third, 18 hits, 8 runs, all earned. A homer. He walked 6 and struck out 13. So first and second, 1 out for Fernandez, who was 0 for 3. Tony hits this one to first. Balboni, Salazar for 1. Tony's going to reach. They get Mosby 2 out. On the fielder's choice for Rance Mulliniks. Rance is 0 for 3. That is into center field. Willie will dive and make the sliding catch to retire the side. Not the Jays' day, is it? Don Gordon coming in to pitch for Toronto. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's Kansas City 10, Toronto 1. So Gordon, available to June 21st, 14 games, an earned run average is 706. Section 505 at Sky Dome is drinking heavy now. I've never met anyone named Rance either. Gordon 0-1 in 86 with that friendly ERA. 21 2/3, 28 hits, 20 runs, 17 earned. He allowed a home run. He walked 8 and struck out 13. He's a fastball pitcher and a ground ball plus pitcher. Brett 3 for 3. McRae and White to follow. George has singled 3 times today and walked. Right field, Barfield. Well hit. Jesse's there. 1 out. That wind is blowing in from right. So it's a sharp wind. Here's McRae. Hal 0 for 2. A walk and 2 RBI. Struck him out, of course. The guy with the 70 ERA is going to throw the clean inning. Frank White, 3 for 4 today. 2 doubles, a single, and 5 RBI. And he walks, so no clean inning. For the Jays in the 9th, it'll be Upshaw, Bell, and Barfield. They have 4 of Toronto's 6 hits. Balboni 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Left center field. Back goes Mosby and Bell, and that's off the wall. White around third, scores without a throw. Balboni with the second double of the year. They wheel out the oxygen tank. Yeah, I've never been a Mulliniks either. I might have taken a few mulligans, but never a Mulliniks. 11-1 KC. Here's Motley. He has homered. That came in the first. 2 for 4 and driven in 2. In 85 during the playoffs, Greg had the Org family. Org, is it a hard G or a soft G? They were very nice, but fairly quiet. That's right. You had Garth and Dane playing against each other for the right to go to the World Series. Party on, Garth. Party on, Dane. Pitch to Motley. There's a ground ball to third. Mulliniks has it over to Upshaw. And that should do it for Kansas City scoring. They get one more. They have 14 hits, 11 runs, and no errors. We go to the 9th, 10 to tie. Orge. Okay. As in my name. So Upshaw, Bell, and Barfield. Willie 1 for 3, a double and a strikeout. That must be tough when you got brothers playing in a playoff series, especially one that goes on night after night. Up the middle, White's got it over to Balboni, 1 out. So again, 10 to tie, 11 to go ahead. George Bell is 2 for 3. He is singled twice. Hoisman deals. That's a base hit in the right center. So Bell has 3 hits today. 9 and 471 on the year. Here's Barfield. Jesse 1 for 3 with a single and a strikeout. You got a live bet on Balboni stealing third. Yeah, but which college basketball program did you place the bet with? Popped up. Left side, Brett Salazar. It'll be George. 2 out. Last chance saloon here. Cecil Fielder 0 for 3 with the strikeout. Hoisman deals. Right field. Motley going back, and that's gone. Well, Jays have a 2 spot on the board here in the 9th. A 2 out, 2-run homer from Cecil Fielder. Oh, it's cold. If they're from California, you're outside, you're on the lake. Yeah. So here it is again. Just in time. Go Jays. They're still winning the poll, despite the fact it's now an 11-3 game. So Buck Martinez 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. Hoisman deals. Ground ball to Salazar. Arhanus over to Balboni. And that'll do. An easy win for Kansas City. 11-3 the final. 3 hours and 26 fake minutes. 11 runs, 14 hits, no errors. First win of the season for Kansas City. They leave on 8. Toronto falls to 2-3. 3 runs, 8 hits, an error, and they left on 5. Dennis Leonard gets the win, 7 1/3. 6 hits, a run. He struck out 7. Hoisman gave up the 2-run homer to Fielder. Hitting in 2/3, 2 hits. And that's that. Jim Acker coughed up a hairball. Takes the loss, 2 innings, 7 hits. 8 runs all earned. A home run. Yep, you know it's over when Buck comes to the plate. Acker walked 2 and struck out 3. Lamp, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, and one of them earned a walk and 2 strikeouts. And Gordon allowed a walk, a hit, and a run in his inning. And, of course, you drive in 5, you get to be the Digital Dice MVP. Now, the rest of the Saturday in baseball for you before we say goodbye for the day. Mets beat the Phillies 7-2. Sid Fernandez gets the win, 1-0. Steve Carlton, 0-1. George Foster, 2 solo homers, 2 for 5. Yankees pound Milwaukee, 9-4. Brian Fisher, come back up. Gets the win, 1-0. Teddy Higuera takes a loss. He's 0-2. Dave Winfield, 2 for 3, hits his first. By the way, the Phillies made 4 errors in that loss to the Mets. Tigers beat the Indians 9-3. Jack Morris gets the win, 1-0. Ken Schramm takes a loss, 1-1. Mike Laga goes to 2 for 4 with a home run. Pittsburgh beats the Cubs. Oh my God, all these highlights. 7-3. Rick Rhoden gets the win, 1-0. Baller, still one of the best baseball names ever, takes a loss. Sid Bream, future Pirate nightmare inducer, 3 for 5, hits his second of the year and drives in 2. Minnesota, Kirby Puckett, 2 homers, goes 3 for 5, drives in 3. Twins have 19 hits. Seattle has 16 hits. Twins beat Seattle 12-11. Mark Portugal goes to 1-1. Cheryl Ladd goes to 0-1. Oakland walks 11 and still beats California 12-7. Joaquin Andujar, no temper tantrums thrown in that game, 1-0, and Kirk McCaskill falls to 0-1. Dave Kingman, 3 for 4, 2 RBI, and a double. Expos, 11, Cardinals, 3, Floyd Yeomans, 1-0, John Tudor, 1-1, Andre Dawson, 4 for 5 with a triple. In 10, the White Sox beat the Red Sox 2-1. James 1-0. Mike Brown falls to 0-2. Tony Armas, the lone run for Boston, a home run. Balmer beats Texas 5-4 and 12. Rich Bordy 1-0. Wright falls to 0-1. Larry Parrish 2 for 6. Hits a second with a double. Braves strike out 15 times, 12, courtesy of Nolan Ryan. However, they beat Houston 5-2. Paul Hassenmacher gets the win. Montevallo takes the loss. Garber picks up the save. Ryan, 2 hits through 7, strikes out 12, only walked 2. Dodgers beat the Giants 8-3. Fernando goes to 2-0. Mike Krukow 0-2. Kenny Landreau 3 for 4, 2 homers, and drives in 4. And last but not least, Dave Dravecky, 8 innings, a 2-hit ball. They beat Cincinnati 2-1. John Franco takes a loss. Dave Parker 2 for 4 with a double. In real life, it was a 1-0 game. Acker went 7 2/3, giving up a run. All right, so there you go. We'll see you Wednesday for Houston and San Francisco from Candlestick Park. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll talk to you the next time. So long, everybody.